All right, we have to move on to our guest because we've made her wait all this time, the fabulous Kameena Star. And, I know Kameena, I adore Kameena, and yet there are things that I did not know on her bio. But I'm going to read part of it, or do you want to read it, Nancy?
You can go ahead and read it, Shannon.
So, and she is going by Kameena Star.
Right.
She has been on our show before as Kameena Ballard Dawkins. She's both of those things. She's a multi-ethnic African-American mother and caregiver to an 18-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old nephew. She has a twin sister who is her K-Divas bandmate. They perform together. They're brilliant. And both sisters have a child on the spectrum, which is kind of amazing when you stop and think about it. And she has a book that is coming out. I'm so impressed. It's from Balboa Press and Hay House. When you have a book from Hay House, stop.
Right.
I mean, that's just amazing. The title of the book is Black and Blue, The Inside Job to Healing in Autism Through Self-Care. And it's set for release Worldwide Autism Awareness Day 4/2/22, which we're really excited about. She is also, here's something I did not know about her. She has been appointed the co-lead of the Family and Caregiver Stakeholder Group for the USC OT Chan Division Trust Research Study Project to actively educate families, professionals, first responders, and others to particularly attend to the autistic voices of underrepresented and underserved communities and ensure that individuals who have been marginalized due to stigma, social behavior, or verbal abilities are included. Thank you. We need to tell the WHO about that. Just on a tear today. So she now has a program that we're going to be talking about in just a minute about self-care for the caregiver. We're so excited about that. And her motto is shine on. And this is a woman who embodies shine on.
Right.
That is, she shines no matter where she is. She's one of those faces. I go someplace and I see her there and it's like, oh, Kameena's here.
Self-care is something I want to hear all about what she recommends for self-care, because that's something that as caregivers, we all need and tend to neglect.
Absolutely. So let's welcome Kameena to the show, back to the show.
Kameena.
Look, there she is shining. You look fabulous, madam. Is that a USC mask? Your mic is not on. You're muted.
I can hear you.
Can you unmute yourself? We're not hearing you. Traven, is she muted on your end? We're going to let Traven help her for a second to get unmuted. I don't know what's going on. I see you. You're not muted on our end, Kameena. Can you look at your settings and see if you are muted on your end? Otherwise, it's going to... can you see it's in the gear on the bottom right of where you're seeing, see the gear box, the little gear underneath your picture? Can you click on that? And then when you talk, are you seeing the little microphone? There we go.
How about this?
It's better. It's
still a little bit staticky. Can you talk, Kameena?
I think you're on headphones. What happens if we heard you for a second and then we lost you. Do you see where it says audio output, audio input? Do you see the little green thing moving under the gearbox when you talk? Under audio input?
And how about now?
Now we have it.
Now we have you, Kameena.
Hello.
Hello.
You look gorgeous, madam.
I'll start over. I'm representing in multiple colors because I'm blue, but I'm now also a Trojan. So I would like to all of these things, and you have to laugh at life, right?
Yes.
We moms, especially the autism moms, we gotta do everything around here. Listen, I had to be my own sound person sometimes too, so don't worry.
Yeah.
How
Well,
are you,
and
ladies?
listen, when I'm left in charge of explaining to someone how to do their tech during a live show, we know we're in trouble. We would never pick me to do that or be in charge of fashion. So, in any case,
I think I have an advantage here of being a performer where I try to, but I think I try to get too cute with the like earbud thing. You see, it's too much, but like we're here and I'm so happy to be on your show. And I was so happy to have waited all that time because you guys said, you ladies are so beautiful. I miss you so much first. Can I just say that?
miss you
We're
too.
so happy to have you
Uh,
here.
Yes.
I miss you, and Nancy, when Shannon called me yesterday, I was like, Nancy, I haven't seen her in years. This show is gonna be awesome.
I know. Well, we've got a lot of people watching and a lot of USC
Hi,
fans out there that
everybody.
are writing to
Oh,
us.
I'm
So,
fighting on and shining on now these days.
There you
So
go, fighting on and shining on. I love it. So let's start by talking about the fact that you have a new program that's about self-care. Tell us where people can watch it and what kinds of things you're covering, because we don't even know where to start with self-care.
well, I want to start if I could just back you up to say that there's so many things going on. I want to talk about this book first. You've
Okay,
just
let's do
mentioned
that.
it.
the book, Black and Blue.
Black and Blue, the inside job to healing and autism through self-care. And that is my book that's coming out next year. The reason why I wanted to start with that first is because you just left off on something that's very, very important to me. And that was the absolute start of this book, and that was bruises. The reason why the book is called Black and Blue, because I haven't even been asked this question yet, but it's the first time and the best time to explain it while you just said the word bruises, is because bruises turn black and blue. And as the colors and while you're healing from the inside. So you can't, you can try to heal a bruise from the outside. You can try to put ice. You can try to pack whatever, to try to do the outside of it, to try to, ointment or anything. But really, the blood's got to get moving from the inside again. So that brings me to everything that I'm talking about in my world today about healing yourself from the inside. That is my whole point. And you all have hit like you ladies hit, like I was taking copious notes at the same time, like, wow, that's in the book, that's in the book, that's in the book. Because I heard people say that they had been bruised and hurt by their children. And
Right.
my daughter's 18, but when she was 9, she was in residential. And I talked about this on this show before and other shows that it really hurts me to talk about. But you just got me with all of these subjects today that I wanted to admit to everybody. My daughter was in residential from 9 to 16. These last 2 years that we spent, including the year in this pandemic, I was pandemic parenting a child who had just come out of a residential situation, who did not live at home, who was extremely emotionally high strung, autism, ADHD. She became violent. She hit me. I have received I believe a lot of my spiritual gifts may probably come from the times that I've gotten concussions from life on the spectrum with my child with autism. And although we've healed that, I felt it, and I didn't want to just move on and leave my community with nothing. I felt it my responsibility to come and talk about some of these things. And so thank you for letting me say that. I couldn't believe that you hit it. I couldn't believe the last word you said was bruises before I came on. So thank you for letting me share that.
So this
It's
is
amazing. I can't wait for this book.
Yeah, this is something you have intimate knowledge of, Kameena. So,
I do, and I want to tell you all that it's very difficult for me to share sometimes too because I'm still improving. Nothing is perfect, as you can see. I'm probably sporting a new look, if you can tell that. The self-care comes from, it's just my story. I can only be authentic with what I'm sharing with you from my own story, which also means I got to take care of myself first. And I skipped the part of my life and was too poor to ever get braces in my life. And I'm an adult and my daughter turned 18 and I wanted to be better for myself. At this point, I'm still a single mom and I wanted to get back out there and not let anything pandemic tear me down. Like Shannon said, they try to steal my sparkle, try to steal my shine, but I had to bring it back, I guess, in the form of these teeth. So life is funny, right? But that's the program. The program is, even if you never saw a thing from me, never bought a book, never saw a class, which we're going to be adding e-classes, we're going to be adding a mom's group, and I'm going to talk about the study. You can learn that you're a worthwhile person, and the better you are as a caregiver, the better your child is. The more your child recovers. I'll say recovery. Autism is a part of them. I like that part. Dr. Stephen Shore is my friend too. I like these people as people. My daughter is awesome. Loving her as a person, I have to love me as a person, and vice versa. And so it really seems like an internal answer. It's like, take care of yourself. But I'll let you all get a word in edgewise. I'm just so excited to be on this show. Woo!
No, we
Boy,
love to
do I
hear
got
you
news
preach.
for you.
We love to hear you preach. So tell us where we can watch the classes, though, because you're doing
Yeah.
this. Is it weekly?
We're not quite ready to launch classes now. I do have things up on YouTube. You can search Kameena Star on YouTube, and I have my own channel where you can see some of the things that I've been doing at a place that I started out with my show, Healing Self-Care, and that was at the Ed Asner Family Center. That and my friends started something amazing where I have a weekly series where I'm able to talk to parents about being self-care for caregivers, where they can have weekly tips and practical tips to take care of themselves. Like, if you're feeling anxious, we feel anxiety a lot in our lives. There's a simple method that I have used and have begun to use since all of this has come about, especially in the last year for pandemic parenting, when people like me get a little jittery. I should try it right now. I'll show you.
Okay,
I
great.
open my hands, and then I just bring them down onto my head and kind of push myself down a little. All of my OTs would probably appreciate this practice. This is something natural. You touch yourself. You touch yourself. You can do it for your child if you feel like the child has got a little. It's similar to hugging your animal when they have the zoomies. So when you get those adult zoomies or the alt zoomies, just kind of bring yourself back to center. Kind of push yourself down. If you want to extend it down and you have sensory issues that go beyond just that head space, oh my gosh, I'm going nuts. Let's go for the arm. Now, they've called these, my daughter used to call them orange squeezes because she couldn't get, I believe the OTs call them lemon squeezes at the time or something, but she made up orange. And Keena Ballard will do that. She'll make up her own things. Our kids do that. And so that's another grounding tip. And each week I go through these tips for about 30 minutes and we talk about real things like having anxiety from having a child on the spectrum.
We don't know anything about that, Kameena.
You hear me talking several miles a minute. If you're not listening fast enough, you wouldn't know, Listening to me talk is like listening to is like water from a fire hose, I always say.
I love it.
Right at you. But the light is really quickly with our children, so it goes quick. But I'm talking about sensory issues. I wanted to thank you for announcing the study.
Yeah. So before we leave that, though, are you still doing the weekly thing on the Ed Asner Center? Is that over?
I am on hiatus and have decided to relaunch my show on the road in Mexico City at the end of the month. I was trying to hold it.
So people will be able to see it. We will be able to access it.
You will. Look for Kameena Star on YouTube. I will be streaming it live YouTube and going straight from there. Now, I'm not sure if the Facebook audience, but it'll be Facebook, YouTube, and all the major platforms for that.
Okay.
Great.
And let's chat, you and I, off, because I'll help you to make sure that, because we found all these things that we know now. But let me say this.
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
I'm a big fan of Ileana Van Zant, and Ileana Van Zant is retiring, and that's giving me chest pains. But then I'm reminding because we have Kameena Star, and I want you to step directly into that space because you have that
not
thing.
Make me cry, please, Shannon, because
oh
what
my
did
gosh,
you just say?
No, I just saw it so clearly. I was like, oh, I don't have to be panicked about that because we have Kameena. And you have that same energy that I love in her, this healing, like we're gonna be real. We're not gonna pretend that the things that are hard aren't there, but we're gonna heal from the inside. So I love it. You're poised
We
right
do.
now. Take her space. Um, Oprah, did you just hear that? Oprah? Because we
She's
don't have
gonna
to.
make me cry. I'm trying not
No,
to
no, no,
slow
no, no.
down.
But let's pivot
Woo!
now to the study because I think that this
But
is really
wait,
important.
Shannon,
Yeah,
taking that from you
oh, girl.
is a true compliment. Now I want to just try to reflect that back on who I'm talking to right now, because you are so incredibly special to me that I have known you all of this time and I'm still able to identify with you. And Nancy, you two as moms, I know you're still there and I know you can hear me, that you two have been the realest mom since I walked into the lunchroom before my pre-interview to nervous, didn't even want to make a cup of coffee. I was so nervous. I was like, no, no, I'm going to be too jittery, too talkative. Ugh, Nancy, Shannon. Okay.
Oh,
But the reason why I say that is because it's allowed me to travel all over the world and meet moms just like you all to do this work. That's how I got to the Ed Asner Family Center. That's how I got to Autism Speaks. This is how I got to USC. It's how I got to everything from meeting real moms like you all that are also doing something wonderful. So see, that's how it's a mirror. You're also doing something amazing for this community that I wouldn't even have a space to belong to at first if you didn't make up. So
Well,
come on,
right
Shannon.
back at you. You came into that lunchroom, and I think we both had a moment where I know I firmly, within seconds, I was like, this is a
Right?
member of my tribe. We are on a path,
absolutely. This
you
woman
Moms
know.
try.
keeps it real. You keep it real, Kamina. And
I
that's
try.
what
I do try. I
that's
try to
what
do it
our
without
parents
stepping on
need
any
to
toes.
hear. They know that not only can you preach it, but you have walked the walk. You have been through it yourself, which means so much.
Yeah. And you don't candy coat it. You tell it like it is, and I have so much respect for that. But now let's pivot to the study because this is really important stuff. Tell people what I know I'm in support, but I still don't know exactly. So tell us.
Okay. So I want to also, before I even say the name, you talked and you ladies spoke today. See, that's why I'm glad I waited so long, because you hit on so many reasons why this study is going to be the answer. Number one, what should we put our research dollars to now? You talked about sensory issues and the developing pragmatic language. You talked about social impairments, okay, and that being cured by sensory awareness. Now, then we started. You guys have prepped this study. This study is called Trust, Transforming Research Under Sensory Experiences in ASD, Stakeholders Working Together. I call it Trust, and that's probably the only time I'll probably say the long name because that's what we want to do. USC has come together with a PCORI funded study over the next 2 years that I am the co lead of the Family and Caregiver Stakeholder Group. This is fancy words and fancy things. I like to break it down and say, I'm a Trojan now. I'm so proud of that because I did not go to USC. I have not graduated from this university. I'm not a professor. What I am is a resource employee as a parent who has been, it's a blessing to be recognized, and this is hired on to influence a group and to help lead a group of family and caregivers to be able to tell their story through what we call narratives. And that's a fancy way of saying storytelling, to let us know how your lives are being affected by things like sensory disruption. Okay. And we would like to know that gets into being in aggression, right? Getting into pragmatic language, and most importantly, even beyond what we mentioned, what you've mentioned in the news, getting to how we can start to heal our own lives from using research knowledge. So I'm here as the seat to keep it real with researchers, to let them know how it affects us on the back end so that it doesn't take 10 years to get this information to the street, so that we can develop real tools like toolkits, which by the one, I have one for challenging behaviors. There
Oh,
was a young
great.
lady on the chat who might want to check that out.
Okay.
Challenging behaviors which come from sensory issues, and then
Mhm.
how do you heal the home after that? Hey, my child was in residential for those many years, and when she came home, you don't think we had things to work on? We did. And those things weren't cured by anything because there was a pandemic and there was no outside school. There was no outside anything that could shield from any of the hurt, the resentment, the pain, and the anxiety she had, but I had,
Right.
because I'm her mother.
Hmm.
And I still am going to support her throughout her adulthood and her whole life because I love her. She's my baby. So, and she always will be when she turns 26 and she's not a baby. So, I'm just stringing the line here to go back to the USC study and say USC has done something that is a momentous thing. Not only are they including me, because this is not all about me, people, it's about our children. Yes, we want us to have a good life, we want them to have a good. They have another, we have 4 groups, and one is for the clinicians and the practitioners. I've already said the caregivers and the family. We're also going to have community partners, which is places like the community centers would have. But then we have none other than the autistic voice representing themselves. Nothing for them without them, nothing for us without us. And I just wanted to big up USC. That's the reason why I'm doing it so much, because this is like a one of a kind study where all of us are going to come together and collaborate on the future of the adulthood of our children. While the CDC is still talking numbers, and while we know that um, they're not going to talk to any children who are low income, or of course not. They're never going to count them. How can they? They don't even speak their language. They have no cultural brokers to even get into that community. They're going to keep counting Jewish white males, and then you're going to have a lower number, which puts dollars back towards research. But the research and funding that's going towards childhood, to me, is a bit dismissive of the fact that autism exists after 18. And that's what this study is all about. We're going from pediatric to geriatric to figure out through sensory issues what they'll need in their real adult lives.
Amazing. Really amazing. I get goosebumps. What a fabulous thing. And I'm so glad that you're a leader on this, Kameena, because I know you have a passion for doing it right. Um,
Will we be able to see some of the results of the study, Kameena?
Well, so now that's a great question, Nancy. Wow, she's always on it. Look, she taught me. Yeah. Woo. See, well, I love these two. I'm on my toes because you guys are the moms. You ladies are the beautiful ladies that I answer to. And I want to tell you that within 1 year, we are going to be having narratives, collective narratives openly in the community. We already have community partners that are going to come in and have these big open discussions with us. Not too open. We're going to do our research first. And after this, within 2 years, we are going to be presenting a national conference where we are going to be looking for national partners, international partners to come in and do the same. Hope we're doing a hybrid model. So it's going to be online. There'll be lots of things that people can attend online. And we also hope to have something in person within 2 years, comparable to anything that would be a national conference of an INSAR or anything else, where we're actually getting these stakeholders and everyone together. So within 2 years, just 2 short years, when I get these things off, then I'll be, I'll be talking very fiercely about what we can do with our kids' adult lives. I don't want to waste 10 years, Nancy. My daughter's 18 now. What are we going to do now? I'm going to get you ladies some answers within the next year and then the next 2 years.
I love that.
Right.
And we're running out of time. So I want to pivot to talking about your daughter who's 18
Sure.
and get an update, because you got some pretty exciting things going on right now.
I'm so glad that you saved the best for last, because nothing's better than a mom flex. Woo. So, is there anything better? I've decided to allow myself to celebrate this time through my daughter, which who wouldn't? She's come out of a foster care system, and she was never a foster child, never meant to be there. She's a Black young lady who is on her rise to the next plateau in autism. She's an budding autism advocate. She's even been on my show. She was my first guest on Healing Self Care. My daughter, go back and check that out on YouTube. My daughter was my first guest. So that should tell you where we're at today. And she's about to graduate from a private program here in Pasadena. Well, in Pasadena. And she is getting ready to go to PCC and become an artist and move on to do Disney things. So, and I know that everyone says that, and I want them to know that whoever said that, your kid can do it too, and keep saying that, because we joked and laughed and everything about my daughter, but my daughter's a graduate, and she's graduating on her own terms, and she's going to she had a choice of not one, but two places that she could go. And there was a third, but she immediately dismissed, but she had multiple options. And I know that just seems like for some people it's not enough, but for me, I'm gleaming and glowing, and she's beautiful and wonderful. She's lost 20, 30 pounds. She's, traveling on, not unsupervised, but not without me. She's traveling without me this summer, people. Without me, the mother. How dare she? How dare?
I love
Keena
it.
grew up. Keena made it. So that's the update on Keena. Keena made it.
Look how far she's come. She's come so far, and I'm sure there was a time you never would have dreamed that this would happen.
Nancy, I cried every night and had no clue.
You cried every night?
And I had no clue. I didn't know when my daughter was coming back home. I cried every night, and I had no clue that I would see this day, which is the reason why I said mom flexes are the best, because when you have done your job of taking care of yourself and making sure that you were cool and calm, you didn't burn down the school district building. You did not hit, slap, or be aggressive in front of your child with any person of any agency. For 18 years, you didn't. My child made it. And I cried and I didn't know, but now that she did, woo!
Amen.
You're gonna make it. You live after the drop off. You live.
So does the book tell us how you did it, Kameena?
Exactly the plan, Nancy. I would never leave you without the exact answer. No, seriously. Because I'm not writing another book, Nancy. Not like this. We're moving on.
I just love it. And I love you, Kameena. Where can we direct people to go so that they can see your show when it debuts? Do you have a website or a Facebook page that you want us to be watching?
I'm mostly on Instagram, but I'm Kameena Star on all platforms. You can find me everywhere just by searching Kameena Star, STAR. And I always say shine on. So I felt that it was the best thing to do to just direct you towards everything. If you are on this right now, I'm also all up in Shannon and Nancy's business. So you could put in the comments in the chats on any of her shows, and I would see it there. I would see it on Instagram, on my Instagram accounts. And if you are a mother, I want to say this. If you are a mom, like us, you see how we have such a connection? I love you, and I want you to join us. I don't even know you. I don't have to know you. But if you join me on Instagram, my private page right now, I promise to make it certainly worth your while. We are going to do some amazing things as moms to try to give back to ourselves. And that means self-care. That means awesome makeup, awesome giveaways. I'm talking retreats. I'm talking, there's going to be some big things. Healing Self-Care is going to be relaunching in Mexico City at the end of May. And I'm excited to announce that. I'm going to announce it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So yeah, I'm at all those places. Is that good? That's an answer, right?
They're saying that they love your comedic timing.
Right.
So yes, I do too. We're out of time, and so I just want to. You're making me. I'm now going to have to go and figure out Instagram just for you, Kameena. I'm going to do that because I'm so old. I wasn't doing it.
I will protect you. It's private. I will protect you. You come to me, and I will make sure that you see something that you want to see, and you don't have to be with the creepies in your DMs.
All right. I do want to address, and I want to give everybody 10 seconds. There's a mom who wrote in and said, I broke my foot and my son is having a hard time with it. How can I get him to understand that we've changed his schedule because of the broken foot. So be thinking, I'm going to just say for 10 seconds, because I was raised by a woman who was either in a cast or in a wheelchair or on crutches or had braces almost my entire childhood. And I will tell you what my mother did for us, that she made that a game and that we were rewarded by the game. So when she had a cast, she got markers. It was before Sharpies were a thing. And we always got to decorate the new cast. When, we got to learn how to use the wheelchair and the crutches, and we got points for, mom needs a knitting needle to scratch down her leg. So whoever could find the knitting needle that worked the best got rewards for it. And it became, I thought it was how everybody was raised. And it was my whole childhood and teen years. But that's what my mom did. I know it's harder when you have a kiddo that's on the spectrum, but they still love an adventure. And if we make it something that it's hard and terrible, then that's how they will look at it. Instead of looking at what you can't do, maybe look at what you can do.
Great advice, Shannon. Great advice.
What would you guys like to share quickly?
Well, I know you grew up with a trailblazing mom, and I think what she showed you is remarkable. And, this parent could learn a lot from that. Good suggestions, they're saying.
Yeah. Kameena, anything you want to share?
Yes, I would say to grab onto what Nancy's saying on the back end, make it not a terrible experience for you. Make it something that you can enjoy for yourself so that your child can feel the energy of you also taking care of yourself. Because really, they say they don't pick up emotions, they pick up two emotions. My child would pick on that and say, Mommy's really miserable. So it doesn't matter whether the child's schedule has changed, Mommy's miserable, and that's affecting them. So making it fun, reading a book and letting them know that you're here just resting and healing and chilling out. They could sit with you, maybe read together. If there's some things you can do to just talk about how Mommy is being resilient and getting through this. And if there's something in their life, if they had to go through this, they have to remember. Talk to them like you would a normal friend that you wanted to kind of like chill out and bug off. Start talking to your kid like that, like a regular, and just let the anxiety and emotions calm down. Other things that you can do is, social stories, make it real for them and post a timeline of when you be out of that thing and all of that, and try to make it just what you would do for yourself, just extend it to the child and work it that way.
Great.
There we go.
Great.
Amazing. I love both of you ladies, and Kameena, I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to see what comes out of this study, and we can't wait for the book.
The book is so exciting.
We're at the end of April, but we can't wait for next year. And obviously we'll have you back before that, but we got to say goodbye right now. I got to tease what we're having on next week, because let me just tell you guys, the month of May is just going to be amazing. On Monday, we have Tom Island, who's going to be here with us talking about some coaching that he's going to be doing over the summer. If you've got a teen or an adult on the spectrum that you would like some in particular coaching about how to be successful, he's got a program for you this summer. We've got our Best of Temple Grandin on Tuesday. We have Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh on Wednesday. On Thursday, we have Dr. Stephen Shore. And next Friday, Nancy and I are welcoming a very interesting robotics company who's going to be talking about a new thing having to do with autism. I love the whole robotics thing.
Right.
So I'm really excited about us talking to them next week, because it's really innovative, Nancy. You're gonna be jazzed by it.
Wait, great.
So that's next week. But let me just tell you, we have a bunch of people on in May that we've never had on before. Lori Unum is going to be joining us in May. Alex Plank is going to be joining us. He's been on a lot before, but we've got some amazing guests in May. We're really looking forward to what we're going to, but I'm so glad that we finished April strong with shining on Kameena Star. So thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kameena.
Until Monday,
Fight on, shine on.
Shine on.
Bye-bye for now. Thanks for watching Autism Live. If you found anything helpful in this video, please give us a like. In fact, make sure that you smash that subscribe button on YouTube and give us a like on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram for important updates. And please download our free podcast wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Until then, give your kiddos a hug from me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.
To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.